Late morning family, late morning family. How are you guys doing? How you guys doing? As always, I hope you guys are well. I hope everything's good. I hope life haven't taken you out. In fact, we're talking, so you're still here, so you are good. Life have not taken you out. So look, check this out. Welcome you who's watching this later. Today I want to have a conversation with you all from what I titled this live, External Explore for Internal Restore. I want to talk about building you up, you building yourself up. Alright? So, and it's mainly speaking about confidence. It's mainly about confidence. Because I understand when it comes down to disbeliefs, fear. A lot of our decisions that we should make, we don't, because it's due to, in some cases, it's due to lack of confidence. Like, we don't go forward because we don't quite believe in ourselves that much. We don't start because there's a negative thought in our mind that sparks doubt, and we don't believe or think that we can do it. Right? So when it comes down to changing our lives, changing our situation, changing our circumstances, where some decisions that need to be made, we shy away from making those decisions. We procrastinate on doing it because we don't really believe that we can, or we don't believe that it's possible. We gotta shake that now. We gotta kill that now. We cannot go into the new year with that mindset, with the disbelief, with the lack of confidence in self that derives from low self-esteem. So when we're talking about changing you, when we're talking about changing our lives, changing our situations, like we're gonna have to infuse our confidence. We're going to have to increase our self-esteem, because we're always going to encounter something difficult, something challenging, and if we don't believe, we will allow that uncertainty to. And when I speak about what we deserve, it's going to require us going forward. So, with that said, external explore for internal restore. Alright? So I can take it back to my dad living when I was 6 months old. Listen, I'm going to paint the picture with my story. Not my whole life story. I'm going to paint the picture of external explore for internal restore. That's going to help you build your confidence. That's going to build you up. All right. So I'm going to use my story, parts of my story. So as I'm explaining and breaking this down, I don't want you for 1 second to think it's about me. Alright? I want you to use this as a parallel for you. Because it's not about me right now. It's about you. You feel me? So walk with me here. External explore for internal restore. So I can take it back from my dad leaving when I was 6 months old, right? So there are some things that my dad was supposed to add to me. Let me phrase it like this. There are important things a dad is supposed to add to their sons' lives. Daughters, of course. But consider I'm a son, that's where we're going to get, right? But it does not exclude the daughter, all right? So there are some things that fathers are supposed to teach their sons. Ways they're supposed to build their sons up. I didn't get that. All right. So that's the first piece where I lack confidence and have low self-esteem, because there's a void there, there's a void inside of me where I didn't get what I was supposed to get, that I was supposed to ultimately get from my dad, right? Cool, no worries. We good. All right. So we're talking about building your confidence to start building you up. All right. Excuse me for the glare from the sun. All right, it's gonna be away. All right, so I could take it back to that, but then I could also speak about, as kids growing up, you have like friends and even family members talking about you, scoring on you, what we call back in the day, and some people call it ragging on you, right? Now, when it comes down to that, I always believed I was dumb because of the jokes and so on and so forth, right? That followed me for a majority of my life. So when I started to struggle in school, now mind you, elementary school, pretty much straight A's and I think B's, right? Middle school, like I always passed. It was no issue, but when I went to high school, it was different. So when I started to encounter things challenging, like I just didn't think I was smart enough. So instead of raising my hand, asking for help, because I didn't want to be talked about, I just started to skip that class. Ultimately, I dropped out in 8th grade, right? Again, it's not about me. Follow me. Because we're talking about external explore to internal restore, building your confidence to building you up, right? So I have to give you the backstory, because it wasn't until I started to go after my GED, external explore. I needed a GED because when I got my CDL, I needed a GED or high school diploma or equivalent, right? So I didn't think I could pass, pass the GED test. Y'all might look at it like, it's just a GED, it ain't that deep. Like for me, it was that deep, right? So when I passed the GED, like with high score, I started to believe a little bit. I was so proud of myself because I didn't think I could do it, right? So a piece of that confidence went up a little bit, right? When I started trying to walk with Christ and him giving me instructions to create and do this and build that, I actually was able to do it. But it's no credit to me, all glory to God, but that helped me build my confidence. But the thing is, my confidence isn't It wasn't in me. It was in Christ because I knew it was his wisdom. I knew it was his strength when I wanted to give up when it got hard. It was his guidance and knowing how to put things together, create things. You feel me? So the most recent thing is, you guys may not know, I just released my first book in April. That's in Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. So again, it's not about me, external. I had to step outside of myself and do that training, take those tests. And with that, me seeing that I could pass and I could do it, that gave me the confidence. So it began to build me up internally, external, explore. So what are things you supposed to be doing? What are some things that you said you was going to do that you have not done? You won't begin to build your confidence in yourself to where you believe in yourself until you face those challenges. Once you start to face those challenges, you'll see that you actually can do it. So if you struggle with confidence, you struggle with believing in yourself, it's going to be really hard to build your self-esteem up if you're not challenging yourself to do more. You're not challenging yourself to face it and say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. So you have to step outside of yourself and go for it. You have to believe in yourself enough to do it anyway. Some things you may not get it right on the first shot, on the first try. You may not get it right, and that's okay, right? Because it's all about learning and figuring it out. But if you never go for it, if you never face it, if you never give it a shot, you would never know how smart you really are. You would never know how crafty you really are, how creative you really are. So when I speak about external explore, I'm not saying look at somebody else's artwork. Look at somebody else's piece. No, you're not comparing yourself to no one and what someone else create and build. You're saying, I'm going to try it. I'm going to put forth the effort. I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to do it anyway. When I tell you, when you start to see that you actually can do it, when you actually see the results, it's going to blow your mind from what your hands created, what you were able to do. And that's going to help you build your confidence, and it's going to help you believe in you again. And once you begin to believe in you, then you have the courage to go for it. So begin to build yourself up. How awesome you really are. But it's not going to be until you actually start trying. Until you actually start going for it. And even if you don't get it right the first time, it's you having the mindset, I'm gonna give it another shot. Or if clearly, like, it's not your thing, that's cool, no big deal. Don't let that handicap you from going for the next, for giving the next thing a shot. Because a lot of stuff is in our heads. We begin to listen to the voices that does not encourage us. We begin to share our ideas, the visions, and our plans with other individuals. And because they don't see it for us, because they don't believe it's possible, because they don't think that we can, they may not do it intentionally, but they'll speak death of it to a point where we don't even try to speak life or breathe life to it. We don't even try. We quit before we get started. We can't do that no more. It's going to be hard, especially when it comes down to us doing something we've never done before, like 9th grade math, pre-algebra. I struggle with pre-algebra. And I'm like, man, this is hard. Well, of course it's hard because I've never done it before. In fact, I've never seen it before. I guess like the little math that I had been doing in middle school and elementary school, like it wasn't hard for me. So I guess I thought maybe in high school it was going to be the same thing. Well, that wasn't the case. So because it was hard, I didn't try hard. I quit. When all I had to do was just raise my hand and ask for help. Who cares what everybody else was going to think and say? My self-esteem was low, so I couldn't handle them laughing and pointing and talking about me like what I've experienced in the past. I wouldn't dare do that. So instead of asking for help to where they could break it down and explain it to me to where I can understand it, I just stopped going to that class.